One key component of online learning which is emphasized in the K-12 sector is assessment. Assessment is very important in the K-12 sector because of the structured curriculum. Teachers must be able to determine if the intended learning has been achieved. Online learning in this sector is no exception and may in fact be even more important because the return on investment must be measurable. There is often a large startup cost in an online course. Evaluations can be built into the instructional design and learning environment, which leads us to another key component, infrastructure. Infrastructure is defined as the basic structures and facilities of an organization. When looking at the infrastructure of the traditional classroom, there are limits to classroom capacity due to space restrictions and limited resources such as teachers and computer labs. In the context of online learning for K-12 students, the infrastructure no longer refers to the physical classroom and school amenities like the gym or cafeteria, which might contribute to a student's learning, but instead refers to the online environment which learning is taking place. When designing the infrastructure of the online classroom, there are a number of things to consider. Characteristics of the learners, K-12 students. They tend to be more comfortable with technology than previous generations. They're curious learners, and their motivations differ from adult learners. In many cases, the courses that K-12 students are enrolled in are mandatory based on educational requirements. Another consideration is the content. In the Canadian K-12 system, much of the course content is regulated by governing bodies and must follow a specific curriculum with specific learning outcomes. This needs to be considered when designing the online classroom because the choices and self-directed learning component of the online learning experience should be tied to the course outcomes. For example, if the course is meant to encourage critical analysis, it may be designed quite differently than a course which requires a lot of memorization. Another is technology. Some questions to consider when looking at the technology which will be used to create an online classroom would be, what type of technology is available to use? Another is, how does the usability of this technology compare to the skills of the learners? Any frustrations around the technology will hinder the success of the learner.